So, welcome everyone to the new Plauti webinar, Data Action Platform, Unlock the Power of Bulk Data Actions. It is fantastic to have everyone here. And as you can see, we have a quick and packed agenda today. So I will just jump right in and provide you with what we're going to do for today's webinar. So as you can see, we're going to provide a quick introduction on the hosts, of course, and our guest of today, Andy, from Henry Schein, Dental UK, and it's a full Plauti data quality experience as well. We're going to have a demo time, of course, with some real-life examples on bulk actions in Salesforce environment. And we're going to conclude our session of today with a quick Q&A, and you're free to drop your questions in the Q&A section at any time, of course. We're aiming to wrap it up within 50 to 60 minutes. The recording will be provided to you by email as well. But we do encourage you to stay and stick around up to the end so you can guys also drop some questions. Now, without further ado, let's get into the introductions. So my name is Nicola. I'm the one in the middle here, account executive with Plauti, and your co-host for today's panel. And together with me is my colleague Ruben, product owner, and one of the masterminds behind our high data quality management solution. And as Andy said before, yes, we are very proud to have Andy Brennan today from Henry Schein, Dental UK. And of course, if you like to just like a quick, have a brief introduction again, Andy, it would be great. So also for the other people that joined a little bit later.
Hi, yes, I'm Andy Brennan. This is on the slide. I work for Henry Schein Dental Holdings UK. We've been a Plauti user for about 2 years now and use it extensively.
Nice. Cool. Thanks. Please stay tuned, Andy, so that we can share your experience with the Plauti data quality solution. And we are Plauti, generating data happiness since 2013. Plauti is the company behind the Plauti Data Management Suite, our complete data management solutions, which enables Salesforce to be your single and complete source of truth. And we do this by duplicating, consolidating, and validating standardizing custom records in your CRM. Duplicate check, our data quality solution to find, merge, and prevent duplicates at any point of entry. Record validation, our solution to validate and format email address, phone numbers, and physical addresses. And of course, the start of today, our data action platform, the newly entry in our Plauti family. It is our mass action tool enabler to build to empower user into Salesforce. Now, all Plauti action applications, as you can see from the logo appearing on the screen right now, are 100% native Force.com solutions. And this means that the Plauti provides you Salesforce safety peace of mind, a more efficient implementation, and a full integration with your Salesforce business logic and custom processes. So, Data Action Platform. What is Data Action Platform? Why is it a platform and how does it work? Well, Data Action Platform is a tool that enriches Salesforce platform with the ability to create power users. By maintaining and respecting your already existing settings, you can create power users in your Salesforce instance, and of course, help them boost the management of activity. And as I mentioned a moment ago, generate also shared data happiness. And what is data happiness, you may ask? Well, it's pretty easy. As you are in charge of managing the data in an organization, of course, you feel the desire to keep all the data clean, usable, complete, and updated. And depending on how many actions are included, from defining your action to the effect of those actions, you will want to make sure that everybody that works with data in Salesforce should be able to enjoy it to the fullest. So find easy and enjoyable the exact moment when the data turns into information and contributes in achieving your goals, of course, in a funny way. So here you would see Plauti Data Action Platform in actions. All those mass actions within Salesforce that are enforced to a specific subset of permissions can be allocated to appointed users. And those users will be able to run the execution methods such actions. And why do we call it platform? Where the platform is where you can launch those actions, of course, track the results, and make analysis from the audit log. So what is the Data Action Platform again? Well, it allows to allocate bulk actions in Salesforce to specific appointed users. You can run those actions via different sources, as you can see, via API, from list view, via that job, and even schedule job today. And after that, you can bring the action launcher, and this, as my colleague Ruben will show you later today, defines the target object, filtering fashions, and so on. And then you will be able to configure the desired actions and set its parameters. A brief summary will appear, and then the action can run. This can happen asynchronously or synchronously. So basically means that it will happen with a control time. For example, if you schedule a job or if you launch a job, or as you run the action from a list view or from API source. The added value here is that the power to store these actions and records Audit Log into your platform, which does not just work as a general settings hub, but also is a center of all the permissions, the history, and empower users to be in full control when monitoring such actions and records. But what you can do with the data action platform? Well, you can mass delete records from Salesforce. You can mass convert, for example, leads to be converted as contacts as well. You can mass update. You can mass create tasks from a selection of records based on extensive configurations, as well as mass assign ownership to power users or even new employees joining your company. Set account hierarchy, and also find and replace certain fields and values, but much, much more. For example, recently, we just included the scheduling of bulk actions, jobs, and also the integration with field variables. But regardless, we are constantly building our platform to meet our customer requirements, listening from them and learning from what is the market needs as well. So more solutions that actually help them optimize ROI by facilitating the conversion rate, maximizing the distribution of leads, accounts, opportunities, and cases. Boosting management tasks, like, for example, territory reassignment, as I mentioned here, assigning ownership of leads, accounts, so basically account management, helping digital logistic and storage of the records, so tasks, wrong and corrupted imports, and data now in decay can be easily managed. And of course, last but not the least, have power and end user to save time. But let's hear from Andy. Welcome again, and thanks for bringing us here your experience. I would like to start with a brief overview of what is your application roster from Plauti, and what are the benefits that you have seen by adopting Plauti solutions.
So we started with the deduplication software from Plauti. And then we moved on through to the address validation software, and we're now implementing the DAP solution as well. So we've had a big project over the last couple of years, which has been all about data cleansing, and a big part of that is deduplication. The Plauti tool allowed us to do this in a way that we weren't able to do natively in the platform, and we've used that extensively. We then having worked so well with the deduplication platform, we then swapped out from Experian to Plauti for the address checking validation. In terms of the actual address data, there's not a huge amount of difference between what you offer from in terms of address data to Experian, but there's huge amounts of difference in how we can control that application to run and how we can leverage that in the back end. The previous application, it was very front of house. It just kind of ran. It was just called at the point of access. And as a development team, we didn't have much control over how that works. So now with the Plauti application, we can really control that. And then the kind of final stage of our data cleanup is that we have a team of data checkers, so customer data administrators, and they constantly check our customer data. They're constantly looking for duplication and error and solving those problems. And historically, their work's been done, as I would imagine many people's are, by dumping data out into Excel, doing a lot of work in Excel, and then sending files back to the admin team to import those files and upload them. And you have two problems with that. One, you've got no audit trail, no understanding of what's gone on, how you've got to that, and you've got system administrators doing file uploads. And so that then means that the team are tending to work on bigger files, less granular, less kind of interactivity with the data. And so the DAP allows us to create the customer data team as power users, and they're in control of their own destiny and they can do their own work. And we, as a development team and an administration team, we can watch and we can monitor and we can make sure that nothing big is going wrong or is being or can't be undone if it's done. So from our perspective, that kind of power user piece is really useful. We haven't even begun to tap into some of the new functions yet, because you've been kind of developing them as we've been trying to keep up. So you keep releasing the features, and we do intend to get through to a lot of them. But for us, it's about that. It's allowing that team the ability to be, in charge of their own destiny and doing their own work and not double handling work, not sending it here and there for other people to upload. And it's invaluable for that, quite frankly.
Great to hear that. I see. And you said that you mentioned that what kind of how do you empower? How do you see like that actual platform to be your pivot point in Shine state and governments? Like what kind of activities you will see that actual platform will replace?
So mass update is massive for the data team. There's lots of things. At the moment we're in a whole corrective data process, so we're looking for errors and fixing them. But in the day-to-day of the customer data team, sales reps move and change, and areas move and change, and those mass updates have to be done. There's still opportunities to use extra features of account owner assignment we are looking to use. And also, classically, we manually at the moment create a lot of data action tasks. So we'll say to a sales representative, what's going on with this customer? They've got 7 accounts. The name's spelt differently 3 or 4 times. And we create, that a Salesforce action for the sales rep to look at that and ask us that. So the ability to create some of those tasks as well, a little bit more automatically, will be really useful moving forwards.
Great. And if you had to explain with one sentence, what do you like the most about that actual platform at the moment? What that sentence will be in your hand? And
for me, as the the person who oversees the whole side of the Salesforce, it's about just being able to empower people without making them system administrators. A lot of these changes that the data cleansing team need to do either require really complex profiles to be created to allow them to do their work, or system administrators, which is why they fire their data, their uploads through to a system admin to use a back-end uploader. It's that ability to give them the power to make the changes to the data and not have to have them be system administrators, because we don't want them to have that level of power. We want them to be able to do what they need to do and not be administrators, basically.
Nice, thanks. That's great to hear, Andy. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and the future planning with that actual platform with us today.
No
I guess though that everybody would like to also is eager to see a bit of that in real life examples. I will leave in the stage to my colleague Ruben here, which will showcase for you a few use case of from our partners, and also some new features we have included in just about a week ago with our latest product update. So take it away, Ruben.
Yeah, thanks, Nicola. I'll share my screen here. That works, and it works. Yep. So I'm beginning with a short slide about what I'm going to showcase to you guys. So my name is Ruben. I'm the product owner for Plauti, and today I have the privilege to show you around DAP. And this time we're going to show you the data action platform through real life use cases. We have seen these use cases from customers actually using DAP right now. And we thought it would be a really nice way of showing you around the tool today. So the first use case that I want to show you today is the ability to mass create tasks for opportunities that are closing next month in the list view. So like Nicola already mentioned, we have different execution methods. We can start actions from a list view, but we can also start them from a batch job, taking into account a large set of data, for example. And one of the things we've added to that is the ability to run a scheduled job as well. And in the use cases, I'm going to show you all these things that we can do here. The first use case is going to be from a list view. Then we're going to schedule a job to automatically divide new key cases evenly to the support team each morning at 8 a.m. So this is a common use case, maybe also for people attending right now. You have cases coming in and you want to have a nice way of distributing the cases evenly to your support team. Well, with Data Action Platform, that is a possibility, and I'm going to show you how that works exactly. Then the third use case is going to be about standardizing. Data Action Platform has a new feature. It's called Find and Replace. And in combination with creating a macro we can build standardizing actions, which you can allocate to any user in Salesforce, which is really nice. So that's something we're going to check out as well. And we're going to finish with the situation where there was a faulty import that caused double country codes in phone numbers. This is actually a real life use case. And we're going to solve it with the new feature find and replace as well by using a regular expression. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to jump right in. And we're going to start with the opportunity and creating tasks for them. So right now in my Salesforce environment, and I'm going to check out the opportunity object where we can see a list of opportunities. And now I might be in the role as a revenue operations manager or a system administrator or any power user for that matter. And I want to create a task for opportunities that are closing in the next month because they need immediate attention. We want to win the opportunities, of course. So I'm checking out the list view closing next month, and there you will see that we have 7 opportunities that we as a revenue operation team want to get focus on from our sales team. So what I'm doing, I'm selecting these records, and on the top right, I can go to the action launcher. And the action launcher button can be assigned to any list view, to any object in Salesforce. We can work with any object, also with custom objects. And for the 7 records that I've currently selected, I can start an action that is assigned to me, to my user or to my user profile. So here you can see that I have the action assigned to me, which is called create tasks. And this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to click next, which will give me the task configuration. And we're starting off with who we want to assign this task to. And we're creating 7 tasks here. And I want to assign them to the opportunity owners because I want the opportunity owners to follow up on the opportunity and call the account that is behind it. So as a subject, I'm going to set call. And as a due date, I'm going to set tomorrow because we're in a hurry and we have a high priority, of course. And then I can set up a description or a comment, which we can use field variables, which is a new thing that we also introduced in the last couple of months. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write hi, and then I'm going to look for a field variable for the owner's name. So the owner of the opportunity. And then I'm going to use a comma. Please call, and then I'm inserting a field variable for the account name. And then between parentheses, I would like to help the user by also printing the phone number to see if you can close this deal. So yeah, I'm happy with this. You can click the next button, after which I will receive a summary. So I can review what I've configured, make any changes going back, but I can also start this one. And if I start it, it will run synchronously because I'm doing it from a list view, so it will be executed right away. So if I now check out those opportunities again and open up one of them, you can see that now a task is added. If I open it up, then you can see in the comments, hi Ruben, this opportunity was assigned to my name. Please call Buffalo General Hospital with a phone number to see if you can close this deal. So yeah, really nice functionality, especially with the field variables. And a good thing to know is that now we're doing this manually, but this can also be scheduled to run in a batch job, for example. So you can set up a scheduled batch job to maybe before a new month begins, create tasks automatically for opportunities that are closing in the next month, for example. It's really nice use case which you can follow. All right, so yeah, now we're going to take a look at scheduled dev jobs for the second use case. The second use case was to schedule a job automatically to divide new cases evenly to the support team each morning. And if we take a look at the case object, you can see that for today, I've got 13 new cases, which are all assigned to my name. But yeah, I don't have the time to follow up on all these cases. So yeah, I want to assign these evenly to my customer success team. And I can do that by scheduling a job that does that for me every morning at 8 a.m. So this is what I'm going to set up at the job page. So I'm going to click the new job button, and I have to give it a name. So divide new cases every morning to customer success. And for the object, I'm going to use the case object, of course. And yeah, I do want to set up a filter because I don't want to reassign or divide the ownership of all cases, but only the ones that are new. So I'm going to set a filter on status equals new. I'm going to set up a filter based on created date. And there I'm going to use a date literal, which makes a lot of sense because we're scheduling this job to be reoccurring. I'm going to set up another filter to pick up cases that were maybe created the day before, but are not picked up yet by someone in the team. So I'm going to enter the date literal yesterday as well. And then I want to add filter logic because the status has to be new. And for the created date, it has to be either created yesterday or today. So with setting up filter logic like this, I will basically make sure that will happen. And then as a last step, I can add a schedule. So I can select a frequency. So this job I want to run every day, every morning at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then when done setting up the job. So clicking next, you will see the action launcher again, and we can now select what action we want to configure here. And I want to use the assign ownership action. Click next. Then we get to the assign ownership configuration, and I can first decide how I want to distribute the cases that are selected in the select records phase, so based on the filters that we've set. And I want to include the users from the support team. So I'm adding the group support, after which you will see that the users are added to the assign ownership configuration one by one. And currently I've set it to split even. So all the users will get an even amount of cases each morning. But if I want to, I can also create a custom distribution. For example, I know that Iron Man and Captain America are not so busy during the day, or that they are busy, sorry. And Black Widow has some extra time, so I can make sure that 50% of the new cases are assigned to Black Widow. Well, we can make a custom distribution. I'm setting this back to split even because I want every support member to have an even number of cases each morning. And I click next. We'll get the summary again, and we can then schedule it. After we schedule it, we will have a new overview, the scheduled job overview, in which we will see the job that I've just created. If I want to, I can deactivate it or activate it again at any given time. So if you don't want it to run for some time, you can simply deactivate it, but you don't have to delete the entire scheduled job. If you want to enter metadata about what you've set up, you can click the info icon. You can see what records are selected here. And if you want, you can always edit the scheduled job to change something in the configuration. A really nice thing that if someone is added to the customer support team in the group customer support, which is defined in the Salesforce setup, then it's automatically part of the distribution of new cases every morning. So that's really nice. So if we take a look at the cases again, this one is going to run tomorrow at 8. But what we can also do, we can do it right away, of course, from a list view. You can select the records that you want to divide, and then we can open the action launcher. And for this specific use case, I've created a macro. A macro in Data Action Platform is a pre-configured action which you can execute with the click of a button. You can give it your own name, pick an icon. We're going to do that for the next use case as well. And then you can run it at any given moment. So 25% of selected records will be assigned to each user. I can run it synchronously. And if we take a look at the leads list, you will see that not everything is assigned to my name anymore, but they are evenly divided to the members of the support team. So great use case, which you can use in a scheduled context. You can do it from a list view. You can do it from a batch job, like a one-time job on a really large set of data. We can handle large data volumes, no problem. Really interesting stuff. So that was the second use case. Then we have two more. And the third use case is about standardizing. And for standardizing values, we are going to build a macro. So macro is that pre-configured action. And it makes sense to create a macro if you want to repeat an action a number of times, or maybe in a scheduled context, so that you don't have to reconfigure it each time. And the use case that I'm going to show you now is for the accounts. And if you look at the accounts in my current list view, you will see that a lot of these accounts are from New York, the state of New York. But you will see that the state of New York is written in three different ways. We got NY, which is the official notation of the state in the United States. We got NYC, not so official, but I understand what it's referring to. We got New York, and we got New York City. And yeah, you probably know that having unstandardized data is not really helpful if you want to run reports, for example. So yeah, you definitely want to have standardized data. And with Data Action Platform, you can create your own actions to standardize data the way you want to standardize it. So that's what we're going to do. And to do that, we're going to use a macro for the new action find and replace. So I'm opening the DAP setup, and on the left side, I'm going to access the action library. And you can see the macro for the round robin support team assignments is in this list. And on the top right, I can add a new macro. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to base this macro on the find and replace action. I'm going to click next. Now we can define a name for the standardization. So I'm going to call this one Standardize states values for the account object. And then I can select an icon. This one is nice. So I can go to the next page, which will take me to the action configuration. And here, first off, we select the fields. So I want to target the billing state / province field, in which I can set up a find and replace action. So as an expression, right now, I want to find states that are written in a certain format that I want to change towards NY. So I can sum up a couple of them. So the first one I don't want to have is NYC. I want to replace it with NY. And as a replacement method, I want to replace the entire string. What we can do as well is replace a partial string. So you can find a certain part of a string in any field, and you can replace only that partial string, or you can replace the entire string. So imagine the possibilities with that. Really nice. This is not the only find and replace we want to execute. Of course, we want to do the same thing for, what do we have? New York. Want to replace it with NY. I want to replace the entire string. And the third one is, of course, New York City. And we want to replace it with NY. And also here we want to replace the entire string. So then I'm clicking next. You'll see the summary, and then I can create this new macro, and it will pop up in my list. So after you create a new macro, it is not by default assigned to your users. So you'd have to go to the assignment overview to decide who in Salesforce is able to use this macro on accounts. And this is really the power of the Data Action Platform. It allows you to allocate the actions of your choice to the users you specifically pick to execute these actions. And this way, yeah, you can create those power users that were mentioned earlier. So if I go to standardized state values and go to assignments, then first you will see all the profiles that are in your Salesforce organization. And at the bottom of the page, you can assign to individual users as well, if you don't use profiles as much. So in this environment, I'm the system administrator. So I'm granting myself access to this macro in the job, in the scheduled job context, and in the list view. And I'm not setting a limit on the number of records that I can process. So I can process any number of records without any limitation. So after I granted myself access, you can see that currently standardized state values is assigned to the system administrator. I can start executing this action. And I'm going to do it from the DAP job again. I'm going to create a new job. Standardize state values. I'm going to select the object I want to run. Right now, I'm not applying a filter. I'm not applying a schedule. I want to run it right away. And I want to target all accounts in the database. And you can see that standardized state values is popping up as a new action for me to use. Then instead of going to the action configuration page, I'm going to the summary right away. I'm not allowed to make any changes here. I'm only allowed to execute what was pre-configured for me. This is already also really nice if you as an administrator want to create specific actions and allocate them to your users, but you don't want them to change anything in that process. I'm then going to start the job, which is an Apex job, which is running on the background, and you can see that it already completed. And if we now go to the accounts list again, and if we refresh the list, you will see that all the values are standardized towards the state format of my choice. A really nice thing to keep in mind is that you can extend this action, and you can extend it to include any number of find and replace actions. So you can build an entire configuration set to build a standardized action for all the states in the United States, for example, or for any other use case. Maybe you want to standardize job titles, who knows what. Yeah, you can probably imagine the possibilities with this. So that was the third use case. And then we have one left. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, in the Q&A zone. We are going to answer all your questions at a later point, so feel free to ask them. So the last use case is data correction. So I'm opening my lead object, and today I did an import, and something went wrong in the import. So I'm going to open the lead importer today. And as you can see, for some reason, and this was an actual use case that the client came to us with, the phone numbers have a double country code. So we got the +1 2 times, but if we look further, we also see +31 2 times. It's a Dutch country code. We got the +86, which is a Chinese number, which has a double country code. Well, you can probably imagine that this is a hard thing to fix. But with Data Action Platform, you can actually do that by using the find and replace action in combination with a regular expression. And a regular expression writing one can be pretty difficult, but there are a lot of tools around on the internet which can help you writing a regular expression. And basically what a regular expression is, a regular expression is a sequence of characters that specifies a search pattern in text. So we're looking for a certain pattern, in this case, a double country code, and we're going to replace it with a single country code. So in that way, we can correct the data in the phone number field. And I don't expect you to remember the next slide, but just to show you what we're doing, the top string is a regular expression. And what it does, it starts with a character that basically says we're looking for a partial value in the string that starts with the character plus, which is then followed by one or more digits between 0 or 9. So that's the country code 31, or maybe one digit, the +1 for the United States. But basically, it covers any country code which is available. And then the string has to end with a plus again. So by entering this regular expression, we are able to find this part of the string. So +1 plus and +31 plus, for example. But it covers basically any country code you can imagine. And we are going to replace this with only a plus. And if we replace it with 1 plus, you will see that the double country code is removed. And what we're left with is a single country code. So that's what we're going to set up. And we're going to do it from the .job job again. We're going to click Add New Job. And I want to correct faulty imports. I'm selecting the lead object. I'm not applying a filter again because I want to correct all the faulty phone numbers here. I'm using the find and replace action. And then I'm going to target the phone fields where all the bad phone numbers are present. And as an expression, I'm going to use the regular expression. And in my clipboard, I already have this regular expression. Don't have to write it. And I'm going to replace it with a plus. I'm going to click next. We're getting the summary again. And we're starting this action. So it will run again as an asynchronous Apex job, and it's completed. And if I now find my leads again, I don't have it in an open tab, but I just visit the lead object again, and I'm checking out the leads that I've imported today. Yeah, you can see that the double country codes are gone and the single country codes are left. Yeah, just to indicate that find and replace in combination with a regular expression, it's really powerful when correcting data. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show you. There are so many use cases for this. I can't even begin to describe. So before we go back to Nicola, there's one more thing that I would like to show you. So basically in the data action platform, we monitor every action in an audit log because you want to keep track of everything that happens in your environment as a Salesforce administrator, of course. Like Andy, sorry, it's Andy from Henry Shine, also mentioned, it's really important to see what happens. So if something went wrong, for example, you can minimize the damage. Also, one of the features we're going to add is an undo possibility, which is also going to be executed from the audit log. So I'm in the setup again, and on the left side, we got the log, and we have 2 audit logs even. I'm first going to show you the action audit log. And here you can see, yeah, basically exactly what we did today. So we started with create tasks. Then we did an assign to support team. We standardized state values, and we did a find and replace action. Well, from here, you can enter an info module in which you can see exactly what happened, what you've set up, the summary, and also the results. And if you have, for example, a filter applied, then you can see it here as well. Besides the action audit log, we are also able to access a record audit log. And the record audit log will keep track of record changes individually. So if we open up the top record here, then you can see that this record ID was involved in a data action platform action. And when you go to the summary, you can see that this phone number with a double country code was changed to a phone number with a single country code. So this allows you to keep track of basically any action in your database performed by what user at what time, and so on and so on. So yeah, that's the audit log. That's basically the end of the demonstration. Let's give word back to Nicola to see if there are any questions. We'll be happy to answer them.
Sure thing. Let me just quickly share my screen just because we have a dedicated slide for it. Yeah, we already have a question. And the question is like, can this be used with custom objects?
Yeah, that's a good question. And definitely we can. We don't have a limitation there. So we can use any object in Salesforce in a batch context, but also in a list view. If you have a custom object, you can create an action launcher button, which you can add to your list view of that custom object. And if you want to find out how, check out our knowledge base. It's a really simple step and after which you can grant this action launcher button to any object of your choice.
Okay. In the meantime, I also would like to launch a quick poll. And this is just like as we are curious to learn from you. And the question is like, having in mind your organization, can you think of any use that DAP can solve your data management problem within Salesforce? And if so, I would like to also read from you. You can just like write your use case into the chat section. Meanwhile, that the poll goes on, Ruben, we have another question. Can find and replace be used to replace a value in a field on an object with the value of a different field found in the same object or different objects?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. So in the find and replace, in the replace field, you are able to use a field variable. And you can use multiple field variables there as well. So that's definitely an option to replace it with the value of a field which is in the record itself. But we're also able to fill in a field from a related record. We can even go 6 layers deep. So for example, you are able to replace it with a field of the owner object, which is linked to that specific record, or in a context, we are able to fill in account fields there. So yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Nice. Meanwhile, we see that most of our participants today find yes, that action platform to solve some of their problems into their Salesforce data management issues. And again, like we do encourage you to inform us on what will be the use case that you are actually thinking of when you reply to the question. We're really curious, again, like being our solution in constant development and empowering users into Salesforce is always nice to also unlock certain features to you. I'd like to ask also to Andy if he has in mind any other specific use case that you would like to, that is thinking where that action platform after our demo, if there is anything else that you may see crucial in Henry Shines.
Yeah, I was wondering in the find and replace, are you allowed to use wildcards? Was that something, so to look for certain elements of data?
You can use wildcards with a regular expression, but without regular expression, it's not built in. Yeah. So you'd have to use the regular expression for that. So that is possible, and it might be a good idea to maybe add it to a regular expression as well, or normal expression that we offer, like equals or start with or ends with. Those are operators that are available out of the box. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
As I see, we have another question from Luis. Can you use find and replace to update a field so that the format is all the same for all the fields, but the data is kept? For example, phone field has multiple formats, but we want them to be all in one format.
Yeah, that's a good question, Luis. So actually, we are able to do this with our tool, which is called record validation. It's not necessarily a data action platform use case. But record validation is our second tool in the product suite, which is able to validate phone numbers, email addresses, and physical addresses. And one of the features there is to standardize all phone numbers to a given format, for example, national or international or format of your choice, in which you can run batch jobs as well, which allows you to standardize all the phone numbers really easily. So if you want to have such a functionality in Salesforce, check out the tool record validation, which is on our website as well.
Also, another question from Roxanne. Can we schedule automatic jobs to standardize data values?
Yeah, definitely. So we can schedule any action basically available in our action library. And with the find and replace action in combinations with a macro, you can create very specific standardization actions that are specific to your use case. One thing that we're thinking about is offering standardization actions as a sort of a downloadable macro as well. So you can use our pre-configured standardization actions. But right now, yeah, we give you the playground basically to create your own standardization actions, which might make a lot of sense because you can create very specific standardization actions for your specific use case. And then, of course, schedule it to run at a daily frequency, weekly, or even monthly. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions? Well, awesome. Okay, then, well, thank you everyone for your attention today. I hope that we brought you to the best value for jumping to that action platform. However, as you can imagine, there's one more thing. Indeed. And as you might know, there are these are the editions of our data action platform, and you can go ahead now and install our free version, which comes with a 3-day trial to experience all the benefits of that action platform. And as we're speaking, I'm actually pasting the link where you can get it today from the App Exchange. And naturally, whether you would like to have also a more personalized experience, our experts are warmed up and ready also to showcase you the solution in depth for your specific use case. And you can actually reach them by getting your call scheduled today from the second link in the chat. We will be giving you, of course, like the 2 links in the follow-up email after this webinar, of course. Therefore, you can actually reach them at your given time. But for the month of October, we have some Dreamforce Autumn sales, which, of course, bring up the adoption value to a new level. This interests our advanced and premium edition of a data action platform. And as you can see from the clunky animation that is coming up today now, there is like a new big discount that you can choose to jump on the data quality train with that action platform. So the price, for example, for the advanced edition passed from $125 USD per month to $106 USD per month billed annually, while the premium edition instead, which comes with the whole the features that Ruben showcases to you today, comes from it's currently $650 USD per month billed annually, but it gets for a very limited amount of time at $552 USD billed annually. And again, like this is valid up to the end of October, so you guys have plenty of time also to jump on board with us with the advanced or premium edition. I hope that this was interesting for you today to see, and thanks again for watching, and thanks to Andy Brennan from Erin Shine for sharing his Plauti experience with us today. Should you guys have more?
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Andy. And I'm sure you have more questions related to data action platform, but also regarding the record validation, duplicate check, and our Plauti data management suite. Feel free to over to our website, www.plauti.com, and our team of experts is ready to answer your questions or to have a dedicated demo with our product scheduled. Thank you for watching, and goodbye until the next one.